Hagel fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. Finally, I am doing a mailbag video. All the travel, the guy's been filling in for me, answering the questions you guys have been posting on the channel, but I get to finally do a mailbag video. Got some very good questions. Stay tuned for that. First, shout out to some person who commented 65 times on a previous video. That's the new record for someone with the most comments on one video. You guys want to try and break that? Can anyone beat 65 times on a video? Shout out to that guy. Of course, be sure to subscribe as well to this channel in case you want to be a part of mailbag questions, not just, commenting 65 times. To be part of mailbag questions, must be a subscriber to go ahead and get your question potentially answered like these were in today's video. Jump to the latest Philadelphia Eagles mailbag questions via our subscribers. Jumping into the Hunter Gatherer 123 who says, #Eagles, give us your thoughts on Jessie Bates. Oh my goodness, Jessie Bates. It's a very funny offseason because we started the offseason talking about, this player, the Eagles have got to go get. That player, the Eagles have got to go get. And each time there was a player available on the market, I get a question, Thomas, should the Eagles go get him? Now remember, I said, no way they get A.J. Brown, and they probably are not going to get James Bradberry. I was wrong both times. So who knows? Maybe they get Jessie Bates. But here's the problem right now with the whole Jessie Bates situation. Is he a great player? Yes. Would he immediately improve the Philadelphia Eagles? Yes, 100%. But, and again, I don't want to predict wrongly here. I think Philadelphia is done with their overall moves, and I think that James Bradberry was kind of the last hurrah on what Philadelphia is trying to do. One, they definitely want to save draft picks for 2023. I think Philadelphia is very keen on continuing to reload every single year. They're in the reload phase of this franchise in terms of they have great players right now, and each year they just add a couple of pieces, and they continue to have a constant flow of great players. And two, Jessie Bates wants a brand new contract. That's the whole reason he's holding out of basically all work for the Cincinnati Bengals right now. Yes, he signed his franchise tag, but he wants a long-term deal. So you trade for Jessie Bates, you give up draft capital, and you're talking about high draft capital, I think, second, third round draft pick at least, in my opinion. And then you got to immediately sign him. It's very similar to the A.J. Brown situation. You got to give up the first-round draft pick and then give him a brand-new deal, which, of course, Philadelphia had the money to do so. Right now, they don't have a lot of money for Jessie Bates. Now, I know the cap is a lie and that you can technically sign whoever you want. Just look at the Rams, right? Look at Philadelphia. They've been able to do it the past couple of years. And so, yes, could they find some money? Could they, convert to bonuses and move stuff backwards and figure it all out that way? Sure. And is there a need at the safety depth chart? Yes, 100%. They could use a safety to fill in the Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace spot right now that they're going to battle it out over in training camp. But that's a long-winded way to say I think that Howie's done. I think he filled all the places he possibly could, and if there was one spot that he was comfortable with leaving open, it was the safety position. And honestly, I think safeties have been a little bit overrated the past couple of years in the National Football League. You go back to Jamal Adams being a top 5 draft pick. What a bust that was. Minka Fitzpatrick being traded for a first-round draft pick. He's a great player, but are safeties the real big factors in winning football games these days? No, I think pass rushers are on defense, I think cornerbacks are on defense, and then obviously the offense is a whole other story, not even mentioned there. So, yes, I would be fine with trading for Jessie Bates. I'd be excited if they did. I think it'd be a great piece and fill a big hole at safety. But they've plugged every other hole on this roster. I mean, this entire offseason, every single linebacker, cornerback, defensive line. They added an offensive lineman. They obviously added wide receivers. All the needs are plugged. If you don't get every single need plugged and there's one missing, it still means you have a pretty darn good roster. So I'm fine if they do. I just don't think that they will. But again, I've been wrong before, so take that with a grain of salt. Add a pin comment down below. Would you trade for Jessie Bates? Type Y down below for yes, or type N down below for no. Next question here comes from Charlie, who says, you expect the combination of Smith and Brown to be better than Maclin and Jackson? I do. I really do. Now, I went back and watched some Maclin and Jackson highlights. There was Jeremy Maclin highlights on my Twitter feed the other day, and I watched all 5 minutes of them. He was really good, really underrated. Kind of sad that we kind of had a great time with Philadelphia, and that was basically it. We're talking about DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown, right? I mean, this is going to be one of the great duos, not just in Eagle history, but in the National Football League this year. And there are some great wide receiver duos. Look at this from the past 2 seasons, right? You're talking about 2 virtually 1,000-yard receivers, 2 guys who are getting 100-plus targets, 5 touchdowns, averaging almost 14 yards per game each. It's only going to go up. And I know people are going to comment, Jalen Hurts is going to hold them back. I don't think he will. I think this is going to be the best wide receiver duo Philadelphia has seen in a very, 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 very long time. That takes nothing away from young Deshaun Jackson and young Jerry Maclin, they were a great duo. That team with Michael Vick, I mean, that team should have gone to the Super Bowl had they not lost to the Packers in the wild card round. They probably would have maybe even won the whole thing, right? You know, in hindsight's 2020, but whatever. But I do think the addition of A.J. Brown is going to completely change what DeVonta Smith is able to do in the football field. He was going to be better in year 2 regardless. Now he's going to be, I mean, to me, a massive fantasy pickup and a really good receiver. I don't see how you can double DeVonta Smith and leave A.J. Brown one-on-one, because you got to double A.J. Brown, leaving DeVonta Smith one-on-one. This is going to be a really good duo, and as long as Hurts just takes a little bit of a step up, not even like a massive leap, a little bit of a step up, it's going to be a very, very, very dynamic receiving core in Philadelphia, because we're not even mentioning, you know, the 3 receivers battling it out for wide receiver number 3, and one of the best tight ends in the league, Dallas Goedert. Okay, we are 580 people away in terms of having our 30,000 subscriber mark reached right now. We're at 29,420. We are so close. We had 115 subscribers just yesterday, so welcome to everyone who subscribed just yesterday. But if you want to help us get to 30K, maybe by the end of next week, go down below and subscribe. Plus, the only way to be a part of this mailbag video and get your question asked and answered is to be a subscriber. So, a little incentive there, right? Kind of a subtle push there to be a subscriber. You want to be a part of our mailbag videos. Go down below and subscribe. If you're new, welcome. We appreciate you and have a lot of fun on this channel. Jopa69? Jopa? Whatever. Excuse me. Hashtag Eagles. Nakobe Dean, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Guy gives me all the B-Doc vibes in the world. Excuse me. You know, I don't know about Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jordan Davis could be Defensive Rookie of the Year. There are so many defensive players taken each season. You know, the odds of your guy being Defensive Rookie of the Year aren't that strong, but he should at least be the steal of the draft. And if he's not the steal of the draft, one of the steals of the draft. Again, this is all sitting back and saying he's healthy. And that was the kind of weird thing during the NFL draft, because we talked about it once they drafted him. Oh, well, there's a health issue. And then it was like, oh, there's not a health issue. And Philadelphia adamantly has said there is no health issue, and yet why did he fall so far? Like, there's no way he fell to where Philadelphia got him just based on the fact that he's a little bit undersized as a linebacker. I think there was a legit health scare out there. The Eagles have vetted him, and they think he's going to be okay. So, if he is okay, then he should be fantastic. I predicted him to win the middle linebacker job. He should be an instant starter right away, and I think in this defense, he can be very, very productive. Defensive Rookie of the Year would be fantastic. That sounds great. We haven't had one of those, obviously, in my entire lifetime. But just being a solid starter as a rookie, because, you know, rookies are asked, there's a lot asked of them. There's no guarantee he's going to dominate, be the next Brian Urlacher in year 1, but just be a solid starter is what I would like, because we haven't really had that at linebacker in a while. But I'm pumped too. I get a lot of, you know, chip on the shoulder, future star vibes out of him, and yet he's only been an Eagle for like 3 weeks. Okay, let's see. Mark Peterson says, do you view the Giants as the biggest threat in the East? No, I don't. I do think the Brian Daboll hiring is great. I think in the long term, the Giants are going to eventually be a good football team, but they're not a threat this year just due to the fact that they don't have a quarterback. Unless Daniel Jones becomes Josh Allen, which I don't think he will, I think the Giants are still probably a 6 to 8 win football team, maybe even closer to 8 wins. They're pesky. I mean, they're not going to be a 3-win football team next year, but they're not the biggest threat in the East right now. Dallas, of course, remains the biggest threat. Now, Dallas, as we'll look at in a second, didn't really do much this offseason. It was kind of like a, Jerry, what are you doing? Very quiet offseason overall. I obviously used to live in Texas. I know a lot of Cowboy fans, which are, you know, not fun people to hang out with. I'm kidding. I mean, you know, they're people too. But they didn't, unimpressed. Most of my Cowboy fans are like, what are we doing? Their draft was very unimpressive. The offseason was very unimpressive. Philadelphia, I mean, pedal to the metal. They had an A+ offseason. The rest of the East, you know, It's like, okay, Carson Wentz is your quarterback, Washington. You know, Josh Allen, yeah, thankfully not. Daniel Jones is your quarterback, Giants. It's not that great. Dak Prescott, lackluster year, worst QBR in his entire season, or on his time with the Dallas Cowboys was this past year. Is he improving? I don't know. Including Dallas Cowboys offseason. Tom Downey, who is our resident Cowboy guy here at Chat Sports, he gave their offseason grade a C. And he talked about lack of aggression from the Cowboys, maybe being a major disappointment, which it was, which is good to see. Did they get much better? No, I don't think so. I mean, overall, I think that they got worse. And then it feels like a mini reset for 2023. Yeah, it feels like Dallas is kind of an 8 or a 9 win football team as well. Again, pesky. They have good players, and they have had Philadelphia's number the past couple of years. But I think the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC East, and I think that most people would agree with that who are unbiased. And even though we're obviously biased here on this channel, I think the unbiased people would agree Philadelphia is the team to beat in the East. Who do you guys, which team do you guys hate the most? Washington, Dallas, or the Giants? We're all going to say the Cowboys, right? Come on. I mean, Washington will be fun to play this year because of Carson Wentz. And New York is New York. You have the Philly-New York rivalry, but Dallas is the hated guy here. Type DAL down below. I know you guys will. Mr. International, is that like Mr. Worldwide or just different? I don't know. Hashtag Eagles. Who will be the most productive player on offense and defense, in your opinion? Thomas Mott, one for each. Well, there's a lot of options here, but one for each. Dallas Goedert. I mean, Dallas Goedert is going to be the forgotten receiver on this Eagle not wide receiver core, but passing attack overall. Again, talking about a great offensive line who's going to protect Jalen Hurts, a running game which was top in the league last year, and now you have A.J. Brown on the outside. So you have two great receivers, and then you have Dallas Goedert cutting across the middle. I think Goedert's going to be the catch leader, or at least close to the catch leader on this team. I think he's going to be the best, probably tight end in the NFC this year, truly. I mean, let's talk about George Kittle, too. I know they're great tight ends, obviously, on both sides of the conference. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. I think he is your most productive player overall. He probably leads the team in passing touchdowns in terms of receptions. Doesn't mean A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith struggle, because they won't. The entire offense will flourish, but I think Goedert is going to be incredible this year. And then defensively, Josh Sweat. I think this is going to be Josh Sweat's true breakout year. He's been trending towards that. Fantastic job last year. Gets the extension during the season. I think with this defensive line, it's one-on-ones for Sweat all day long. And, people are going to be so worried about Davis and Cox in the middle of this defense. Brandon Graham comes back. I'm seeing double-digit sacks for Josh Sweat. Those would be my two guys. But you could pick, you could pick DeVonta Smith here because of A.J. Brown's presence. You could pick Miles Sanders because of the running game and, committing to that overall. You can pick Nakobe Dean. You could pick Darius Slay because he's going to be, obviously not having to, carry the workload of the secondary. This is a lot of options here, but I'll go with Goedert and Josh Sweat. Who will be the most productive offensive defensive player on Philadelphia? Let me know what you guys think down below right now in the comments section. Again, we'll see a lot of different answers here. I just will go with Dallas Goedert and Josh Sweat for now. Double D's 123 says, this is the best Eagles channel on YouTube. Thank you for great content. I look forward to your videos every day. I appreciate that. Listen, there are a lot of options, and we did a little bit of drama with some of the options this past week. If you know what I'm talking about, then you do. If you don't, then, move on. But I appreciate that. We try to be. There are a lot of people on YouTube, I think, who just kind of, sit in their basements and just kind of give you their opinion on the Philadelphia Eagles in not really a structured way. And I think that that's kind of something that we are priding ourselves in and set aside ourselves in terms of covering the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're not sitting here saying, and I never have, oh, I have a source saying this or I have a source saying that. If I ever do, then I clearly say I have a source saying it. But we react to what is happening with the Philadelphia Eagles, but in more of a structured kind of, reportive way, and a more, I would think, journalistic style versus, again, just being like, hey, I like the Eagles, A.J. Brown being picked, that's sick. You guys think that's sick? So it's just different styles on YouTube here, but I do appreciate you guys thinking that we are number one. In terms of views, we are trending in that direction. I mean, we've been going crazy the past couple of months here on the channel. So drop a like if you guys love the channel. I appreciate you guys being all the real diehard fans. And, of course, I know a lot of you guys watch other channels, too, which is totally fine. I got no beef with anybody else out there. I just try to do the best job I can and give you guys the best content every single day. And apparently you guys think we do, because we're almost at 30,000 of you guys who subscribe to our channel. So I appreciate that. Give the video a thumbs up down below. Okay, ultimate review today on this mailbag video. Hashtag Eagles in the comments. Be a part of next week's mailbag video. Of course, must be a subscriber. You follow me on Twitter, @Thomas Mott. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing. You should follow me on Twitter. A lot of Eagles stuff being tweeted there every day of the week, it seems. So follow me there as well. For Philadelphia Eagles now, Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.